the thought of a person who is in dhyana, unflickering, like a lamp in a nivarta, in a windless place. Now, this is possible this unflickering mind is possible if generally the mind has been kept free from insecurities, anxieties, pressures. So at a general level, at all other times other than dhyana, what are the pressures or insecurities that plague the mind? That has to be looked into. So that preparation is what is being spoken about in the next verse. Let us see. 20. Yatro varamate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanam manam pashyannatmani dushyati yatro varamate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani dushyati. Yatra, yasmin kale, at that time, when, yatra, when, chittam uparamate. Uparama means resolves all anxieties, pressures. The opposite you have to understand, then you know what this means. The opposite is portrayed by a very good example in mythology. There is a position, there is a title called Indra. Indra means the title, the king of Swarga. And it so happens, whoever gets that title, for some reason, is a very insecure person. In fact, the most insecure. Because you need a lot of tapas to get that title. Be the king of all the devatas. And after getting that title and its great insecurity, nobody else should do a little more tapas than me. Because then they will get that title. So this Indra is always like a hawk, who is doing tapas. Always on guard. Whoever does some tapas, what that tapas is for, never mind, it doesn't bother. He will go and send Urvashi, Rambha, some Apsara, go and, so distract. This is Indra. He has power over all the other devatas, Surya, Chandra, Agni, Vayu, all the other devatas. However, in spite of himself having a guru, he has a guru. The guru of the devatas is Brihaspati. So his guru keeps advising him, so you don't worry, it's all right. Indra cannot handle his pressures. Now, there is an interesting episode that shows, apart from his pressures, he has another pressure. We will see that through the story. The story is, there was a asura called Tarakasura. And he had been given this boon, that he can be killed only at the hands of his parents. Tarakasura's parents was Lord Vishnu himself in the Varaha avatar. You know that avatar when he became a boar to save the earth and to save the scriptures. So at that time, the offspring of the Varaha and Bhudevi, this is Tarakasura. So this Tarakasura is gaining a lot of strength. And he threatens to usurp Indra's place. And then the Swargaloka will be ruled by this Asura. So Indra goes to Lord Brahma and says, we need help to destroy. Brahma says, you can't do anything, he's got the boon, let us go to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, they go to and they say, the only person who can help you is the father of Tarakasura, who happens to be Vishnu. At that point of time, Lord Vishnu has taken an avatar, Shri Krishna avatar. So finally Lord Shiva tells Indra, you have to go and appease Lord Krishna. So he is the one who is going to do this. Indra is most unflattered. What can this? Because now Shri Krishna is a mortal, he is a human being. You know that? So what can he do? How can he? So why should I even think of approaching? Why don't we find some other method? But while all this thinking is happening, Tarakasura's atrocities become so great that he has no other choice but to approach Lord Krishna. And he tells him, yes, this Tarakasura has to be destroyed. Krishna understands the whole picture. And for saving the rest of the people, not just Indra, he says, okay, let us go. Satyabhama. Who is Satyabhama? One of Krishna's wives. Says, I will come along. I will help you fight. So you don't go alone this time. It's alright. In a way he is happy because to end Taraka, the mother also must be there. Satyabhama should be there. She should have a hand in killing Tarakasura. So they fight. Tarakasura is destroyed. Now, Indra couldn't even acknowledge that here Lord Vishnu has conquered his own, killed his own son. There is no acknowledgement, there is no recognition. He just thinks, all right, that's it. You know, it had to be done, so it's done. So there is no question of any gratitude of him. So he continues with his own work. In the meanwhile, Satyabhama, she is wondering what is happening here. So there is no acknowledgement. So Lord Krishna says, doesn't matter, let us go. She says, all right, we'll go, but there's one thing I want from you. Swargaloka is very nice. From here, I want you to get me this Parijata tree. Just that. So this is as a gift I want. So you please ask Indra if I can take this tree to the earth. When Indra is asked, his insecurity comes up. So he doesn't say yes, he doesn't say no. In other words, he doesn't want him to go from Swarga. Satyabhama says, so if he's not saying anything, let us simply take it. So he can't, this is a gift anyway we have done in this, you know. Then even further, he shows his annoyance. How can you take it? Anyway, she decides to take it. Krishna says, all right, you take it, let us go. He puts up a fight. Indra puts up a fight against Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna looks at Satyabhama and smiles. He says, look at this, he is the king of Swarga. Look at his state of... This is now the opposite of this Uparama. Uparama is exactly the opposite of Indra's state of mind. The beauty is Indra fights with Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna has to vanquish him for the time being. Till they take the Parijata to the earth. That's how we have this Parijata tree on the earth. Just to show you You may have all the power. Indra is not a small position. And yet, Uparama has to be earned. No matter what position you have, no matter how much wealth you have, what power or prestige you have, how much of a following you have, it really doesn't matter. This resolution of all your insecurities has to be earned by knowledge. So that is what he is talking about. Yatra chittam uparamate. When the mind is resolved, chittam is thoughts. How? So, chittam uparamate and niruddham. Niruddham means is held together. You hold it together. You are not a victim of your insecurities and your anxieties and pressures. If you look at a lot of our behavior, a lot of our habitual behavior, mechanical behavior, mechanical conversation, mechanical actions come from these pressures. There's no will that puts a stop there. Because the force of the pressure is so much. It has become a habitual pattern for us. Certain words, certain reactions. All those reactions, all those habitual patterns have to be niruddham. So when that happens, yatra chittam uparamate and niruddham, how? Yoga sevaya. Yoga sevaya means through the practice of this jnana yoga or even dhyana yoga. The insecurities that don't go just with knowledge have to be taken as part of nididhyasana. So you bring them up in meditation. Dwell on them. Say, look at the opposite. Look at the opposite of that insecurity. Why can't the opposite be incorporated in my personality? That can be done as a practice. A meditation. One kind of meditation. Narakasura. Narakasura. All right. So, yoga sevaya. Sevaya means with the practice of yoga. Yoga is this effort, gaining knowledge, dhyana. Then, if that happens, then yatra cha eva atmana atmanam pashyan atmani eva dushyati. So when that happens, pashyan literally means seeing, but here it is recognizing. Seeing, pashyan literally is seeing, by seeing. But here, understanding, recognizing. By recognizing Atmanam, this pure consciousness, Atmana, by yourself. By recognizing the pure consciousness, how? By yourself. How by yourself? By your thoughts that have been resolved. So, Atmana Atmanam. And then, Atmani eva dushyati. You enjoy the wholeness, the fullness of that Atman. Atmani eva. Dushyati is, you get content. Then you recognize the truth of your personality. So that is dushyati. So therefore the prerequisite is this. Chittam uparamate and yoga sevaya niruddham. It has to be earned. You know, really speaking, this human birth is said to be the top. So you need a lot of punya for human birth, and then you get such a mind and you get such thoughts and all that. All very well. But equally proportionate to that gift, that special gift of being born as a human being, equally proportionate, you have to keep on putting in effort. It just never ceases. That effort to use this gift appropriately. You have to use the will, you have to get rid of pressures. Before you know it, you are a victim of some likes and dislikes. Before you know it, you get attracted to something and you are lost every moment. And that is why the half the Shastra is, half of it talks about this aspect of putting in effort. And the other half talks about if you put in effort, you will recognize what you are worth and you will be delighted. It just never ceases. It ceases only at the point where you own up the jnana. At that point, effort ceases. Till then, no cessation of effort. And come to think of it, you think of it like that, Oh, I have to keep on putting in effort, keep on doing this, keep on doing that. You have to look at it from another angle. See, imagine, I don't know if you ever get a chance like this, but imagine. Suppose you decide, I'm going to take a holiday from work. No more work. I will sit and do exactly what I like, when I like, in the manner I like. Sometimes I may do nothing. Suppose you decide. Okay? You please try doing it. You try doing it. You do take a holiday from work. Do exactly what you want. Not one day, not 2 days. You just try. For some small span. If you have the slightest sensitivity to yourself, you will realize you enjoy it for a point of time. Thereafter, you long for the work routine because that was your enjoyment. In spite of the fact that work, whatever work you are doing, you have to put in effort, you have to be on time, you have to be punctual, you have to prepare, you have to do this, and then you have to show results, you have deadlines, is it not? But somehow your happiness lies in that routine, lies in that effort. A human being is like this. He is a bundle of paradox. What he longs for is, I want to do nothing. But he is miserable doing nothing. And yet he will think, no, I have to take a holiday, I have to do exactly what I want. I don't want all this, I don't want to. Correct. When he gets fed up, he longs for that, let me go back to my routine. Therefore, the skill is to find joy in the effort. That is your only hope. There is no other hope. There is no other solution. You have to find joy in your work and being busy and in your routine. Somehow you have to eke out the joy. Because cutting off from it, it leads to the opposite result. Is it not? Similarly, we have to look at our lives. Although we say you have to live in life, you have to put in effort, you have to be aware, you have to do this and that, you have to find joy in that. And there is joy in that. Just like you find joy in your routine, there is joy in it. So it doesn't seem as such a big burden as one thinks, I have to put in effort. No big deal. It's a joy. If you look at it like that. Even there, it's all in your perception. It's all in the way you look at effort. The word effort need not have a connotation of pain. Need not have a connotation of dislike, disgust. That is our our coloring of the word work, routine. That is our coloring. Effort on its own can be a great joy. Leave alone the goal. Let the goal be. The joy you will get at the goal is what? Some short time. The longer joy you get is in the effort. Isn't it? This is again another ulta thing. All of us are waiting to reach some goal. So happiness when I get the goal. When you get the goal, I tell you, your happiness literally lasts for 10 minutes. Then after that, something else takes over. What big happiness are we running after? Whatever goal. Isn't it? And the long term is the effort. So we have to look at the connotation of that word, of that concept of effort that we have. If I have joy in the effort, I really don't bother about the goal. I will get a goal much more than I expected. That is the way. It is the secret of work. Somehow you have to change your perception to these ideas. Which ideas? Work, discipline, effort, routine. Change your vision. Then everything changes. And this gift we have. Such a gift we have. Somebody else has. See, if you lock up a bird in a cage, the bird is caged. It is destined to feel that pain or sorrow in a cage. But if a human being is tied up, locked up in a cage, what you call a jail. If a human being is jailed, physically he knows he is jailed. Mentally he can produce so much work. He can write books. Is it not? And nobody will disturb him. He will get food. He will get everything. And then there's fixed hours of work, spare time, doing this, doing that. The way he looks at it. Correct? So nothing is painful. It's all in our perception. It's true. Nothing is painful. You have to use your intelligence to see it as such. So, if this is possible, if you are able to generally bring your thoughts, your mind, resolve them, bring them together, then you will delight in your true nature. That was 20. Let us continue. Sukhamadyantikam yatta buddhi grayamapindriyam vritti yatra chaivayam siddhaschalati tatvatah sukhamadyantikam yatta buddhi grayamapindriyam vritti yatra chaivayam siddhaschalati tatvatah. This verse tells you that there is a point where your effort can end. All efforts are up to a point. Thereafter, you need not. So your efforts can end. And when is that possible? Yatra. When? When? Tat atyantikam sukham vetti. When? Tat. That. Atyantikam. Atyantikam. Atyantikam means Antikam means end, that which ends. Atyantikam means it's beyond any end. But there is another word for infinite. Atyantikam. So beyond any end, that which has no end. Atyantika. That which is that Sukham, which is limitless, infinite. And this word infinite, everybody nods. But the truth is, the intellect cannot capture this word. We cannot understand what infinite is. Isn't it? And yet, when this word will be used very often, every time, yes, infinite bliss, infinite, yes. Really speaking, it's a block. Our intellect cannot understand this infinite and all that. It's beyond, isn't it?
Never experienced.
You can't, it is the infinite is not a matter of experience. Infinite is you. You don't have to experience. Whatever you experience is finite. You should remember that. Whatever you experience, all object of experience is finite. This Atyantikam Sukham, that is why you can't even conceive, because there's a block, it's simply not infinite. This word is used very liberally, and we nod also liberally. But really speaking, we don't understand that. Because it is not an object of experience. This is you. The moment it becomes object of your experience, anything becomes a part of experience, it is limited. So experiences are limited. This is the subject who experiences. The one who experiences is what he says, Atyantikam Sukha. So that is what he says, Yaha Vetti, he who knows this. Yaha Vetti, he who knows Atyantikam Sukham. So it is not a superficial knowing, oh yes, I know infinite bliss. It is not possible. He who, in other words, what he is saying is, he who knows the knower. Who is the knower? Me. He who knows himself. So poetically when they write all this, Atyantikam Sukha. So he who knows this Atyantikam Sukham, how Buddhi Grahyam Ati Indriyam. Buddhi Grahyam means that which can be sensed by the buddhi. Sensed by the buddhi. What is sensed by the buddhi? See, it's like this. Everyone knows that they are going to die. Correct? Yet, nobody thinks of death. Nobody really, so even if you're 75 years old, you don't really think, I have 25 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. You don't think like that. You keep on doing your work, you keep on gaining whatever you have to gain. Nobody really acknowledges death. You look at the way people live, anybody lives. We don't live to think, oh, we are going to die now. People live in such a way where when death comes, it comes. We don't make much of it. Why is this so? If death is the only surety for our lives, one thing absolutely sure is death. We don't think of it much. The reason is because at the core of our personality, we are deathless. We don't die. What actually dies is only the body. So nobody likes to believe it. Nobody likes to be told also. Because that power of that deathless me, unborn deathless me, that unchanging me, doesn't want to acknowledge. And so, this is what he's talking about. This buddhi grahyam, I can sense. This costume is going to die, and let it die. I can never die. That deathless me is set by my buddhi. It is called buddhi grahya. That real nature which is never born and never dies is buddhi grahya. It can only be intuited. Really, the word is intuited. You cannot even. You just sense. And it is atindriya. Atindriya means beyond the senses. You cannot capture it as an experience. This infinite can never be an experience. Why? Because whatever you experience is finite. Your senses are finite, body is finite, experiences are finite. So, this Atyantikaṁ Sukham, which is sensed,